Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! So, this happened back before everyone had a camera in their pockets, and man do I wish this entire thing was recorded and plastered on social media. So my girlfriend used to work for a large convenience store with a pharmacy inside it. You know the place. I would drop her off and pick her up every day. That day I just got done with filling out licensing and permitting so I could open my shop. This means I was wearing a suit and a tie. Do you see where I messed up yet? Well, hold on kid, it's going to get worse. So I get to the store and my girlfriend isn't outside, so I walk in. She sees me and tells me her relief is running late and she can't leave yet as her manager was unloading a truck. So decided to wait for her relief as he was going to be there in 15 minutes. Now something to note about this store. The store manager, the two assistant managers, the pharmacist and the assistant pharmacist are all women. So a woman, let's call her Karen, comes in, not looking the typical Karen look, instead she looked like a typical meth head. Karen asks where the cold medicine is, and my girlfriend tells her it's in aisle 4C. Karen snapped back with the, "I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to your boss who needs to stop flirting and help customers." I turn and say, "I'm out of work here." But Karen snaps with, "Then why are you behind the counter?" I wasn't, I was standing to the side of the counter. I just say to her, "Piss off lady, I don't work here." Karen storms off and about 5 minutes later she is back at the front demanding to know where the pharmacist is. Girlfriend says, "Caddy should be back there." It's a fake name. She might have stepped away for a minute. Karen, getting angry, says, "I said I want to speak to the pharmacist, not some bimbo playing pretend. Where is the white man that works there?" My girlfriend tells her, "She's been the only pharmacist in here for the past 6 years, ma'am." "Stop lying." She turns to me now. "Well, where is he, you useless excuse for a manager?" I stand up and look her dead in the eye saying, "Get this through your thick skull. I don't work here." The manager came out because of the shouting. I can be quite loud and my tone scared a few customers already. The manager demands, "What the hell is going on?" "I want to speak to the owner now." "I'm the store manager, ma'am." "Nice try, but I see the man in charge behind you." "He's a cashier, and you need to leave now." "You're going to talk like that to me?" The manager turns to my girlfriend and tells her, "Call the police now." Now here is where things get mental. She lost her damn mind and broke a register, several displays, and tried to assault people. When the police arrived in, I kid you not, she called in pretend cops and demanded to speak to the owner. The police somehow managed to detain her and put her in the back of the squad car, where she kicked at the windows. The EMTs came and gave her a sedative and took her to the hospital. I believe that's where they went. The police officer said to us that she is definitely on some kind of drugs, as they can see the signs. They also checked her purse and found something in there. Sorry, I don't think they said what it was, and if they did, I don't remember. The store had to be closed to clean up the mess Karen made. And of course, she was arrested for drug possession, harassment, destruction of property, and some other stuff. And this is why I'm glad we don't live near that area anymore. Finding out that Tweaker went nuts was normal in that area. My girlfriend quit shortly after that, as another tweaker came in and threw up on the counter. She just couldn't take it anymore. I went over to the local Wally World on the Friday before Christmas. I really should have completed my grocery shopping a day or so before. The place was slammed and the entire parking lot was full. Not a space to be found. So I headed home. But I stopped at Publix to pick up a few things. It was crowded too, but I was in and out. Now it's the Tuesday after Christmas and I thought I could finally get all the groceries I needed. Well, Wally World was still busy, but not as bad as the Friday before Christmas. My platter is about the size of a pecan. So I headed to the restrooms at the front of the store, and as I was passing the various return lines, a lady, and I say that with much reservation, latched onto my left arm. "Oh, a manager!
Help me with these returns. I don't have time to wait in these long lines.
I'm sorry, lady, I said that. I'm not a manager and I don't work here,
Yes, you do.
came the response.
You helped me with these purchases last week. Now do your job and handle these returns.
Sorry, no can do. I don't work here.
You college dropouts are all the same.
By the way, I'm in my 70s and got a bachelor's and a master's degree.
Now get behind that returns desk and handle these returns.
My planner reminded me that I didn't have time for this and I started to walk away.
Where do you think you're going?
She asks as she held firmly onto my arm,
Get behind that.
and I held up a hand in front of her face to silence her. Lady, look at me for a moment before you continue your temper tantrum. The employees here wear a blue vest. Do you see one on me? And the manager wear a yellow vest. Do you see that on me? Again, she wagged her head no. They all have name tags. The tag says the name of the store and their name. Do you see one on me? Again, she wagged her head no. Well, congratulations. I don't work here, and now I'm going to do my own grocery shopping. But she was emboldened even more.
Just because you aren't wearing your vest and name tag, you can't get out of work. Now, get behind that return counter and do my returns.
So I decided I needed the drill sergeant inside of me to handle this. Raising my voice, I said, Lady, you have to be the most stupid and dumb idiot I have ever encountered to think that I work here. Totally dumb, stupid, and idiotic. I graduated college before you were even in diapers. Now you are going to go to the end of the returns line and stand there quietly and not accost another customer again, or I'm going to rain down all hell upon you. She sheepishly walked away, and I nearly ran into the men's restroom. That pecan was filled to almost bursting. Oh, what a relief. It was a quiet day at the military camp. I, Private Smith, was standing at the gate with my partner, Private Johnson, our rifles at the ready. We were both starting to get a little bored. It had been a long shift and not much had happened. But that all changed when a car approached the gate at high speed. Private Johnson and I exchanged a glance. We both knew that this wasn't going to be a routine visit. The car came to a halt in front of the gate and a woman stepped out. She was angry and her face contorted with rage.
I demand to see the commander.
She spat out. Private Johnson and I tried to calm her down, explaining that she couldn't just barge into the camp like that. We asked her to leave her car and follow us to the visitor center, but she wasn't having any of it. She revved up her engine and tried to force her way through the gates. Private Johnson and I had to act fast. We grabbed her by the arm and pulled her out of the car. She struggled and shouted, demanding to see the commander. "Ma'am, please calm down," I said. "We can't just let you barge into the camp and cause a scene. Let's go to the visitor center and call the commander to come and speak with you." She grudgingly followed us to the visitor center, where we called the commander to come and speak with her. When he arrived, she launched into a tirade, telling him all about the military individual who had refused to let her cut in line at the store. The commander listened patiently before finally speaking. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but the military has more important things to worry about than to reprimand someone that didn't allow you to cut in line at a random store. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave the camp." Karen's face turned red with anger at the commander's words.
How dare you talk to me like that?
She shouted.
I'm entitled to have my complaints heard.
The commander remained calm, but firm. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but your behavior is unacceptable. I must ask you to leave the camp immediately." But Karen wasn't about to give up. She lunged at the colonel, trying to slap him. Private Johnson and I quickly moved in to intervene, tackling Karen to the ground and handcuffing her. She struggled and shouted, but we were able to subdue her. "Take her away," the commander said grimly. "She is not welcome here." Private Johnson and I escorted Karen off the camp, shaking our heads at the bizarre turn of events. "Well, that was a wild ride," Private Johnson said to me. "Tell me about it," I replied. "I'm just glad it's over." After being taken down and handcuffed by Private Johnson and me, Karen was arrested and faced criminal charges for attempting to break into the military camp and attempting to attack the commander. The judge who presided over her case was unsympathetic to Karen's entitled attitude and her belief that the world owed her something. He sentenced her to 6 months in prison for her actions. Karen was shocked and outraged by the sentence. She had never been in trouble with the law before and couldn't believe that she was being punished for trying to assert her rights. But the judge was firm. He told Karen that her behavior was unacceptable and that she needed to learn to respect the rules and boundaries of society. Karen spent 6 long months in prison, reflecting on her actions and the consequences of her entitlement. I met my roommates in college 5 years ago. We were both going for studio engineering and music production. We became great friends almost instantly. We would often share beats with one another and also collaborate on some projects together. At one point, we were marketing ourselves as a duo for music production. We were trying to get noticed by more famous artists in our area. So we made trap and R&B beats. Some local artists have used our beats, but no one major. Here is a quick side note. Whenever we would send out beats, we would send them in WAV files. And it would always be in a loop, never the complete beat, never the actual project file. This protected us from thieves. During the holidays, I went home and he stayed behind. I sent him over a loop in a WAV file a few hours ago. I'm on Snapchat, and he's in a studio with a local artist playing my loop. At first, I'm super stoked. I try to FaceTime my roommate and he doesn't answer. He just sends me a message saying, "Send over the project file." I try to FaceTime him again, but he doesn't answer. Right away, I know what he's trying to do. So instead, I go over to the local artist Instagram and check his story. It's him in the studio with my roommate. And the artist says, "Yeah, I'm here in the studio about to hop on this track that my man, insert my roommate's name, made." Now I'm livid. I tried calling my roommate again and he answered, and my first question was, "Why is he saying that's your beat?" My roommate just says, "You know how it is, man. Just send over the project file so I can arrange it for him. He's ready to go right now." I hang up and never send the file over. He calls me over 20 times and he sends me a message saying, "That's messed up, man. That could have been our big break. You know, he knows people in Atlanta and New York City. I was going to tell him it wasn't mine. Screw you, bro. You just ruined us. Now he left. You made us look stupid." I didn't respond. Instead, I messaged the artist explaining the situation and told him I could be in his area if he really wanted the beat. I told him I lived 20 minutes outside the city and could be there in about an hour. Now remember, this is a local artist, no one famous by any means. He does know people, but he himself is not famous. So he responds and tells me to come through. I play the full beat for him, and he said that he wasn't feeling it anymore, which artists say a lot. He then goes on to tell me that my roommate tried for hours to remake my beat, but couldn't even figure out the drum pattern. And that's how he knew he lied about the beat being his. He even called him out and my roommate still said it was his, but that he was drinking and smoking when he made it. Now he will never trust him again, and he told all of his homies to do the same. Now the local artist does not want to work with my roommate anymore because they don't know if what he brings is stolen or not, which everyone knows in the music world is a really bad idea. Bottom line, do not try and steal from me. But now I gotta find a new place to live. The story starts with me in my company. I'm a 30-year-old businesswoman who works in an IT service in a bank space. I'm the girl for everything basically, but I'm a specialist for first-level support, administration and backup, sometimes even networking. Even when I'm not head of my IT department, I basically had all the responsibilities of them. But unfortunately, my pay grade doesn't reflect that at all. I think of my boss of my IT department as kinda lazy if not incompetent. He even brags about getting so much money for basically doing nothing. I have a 40-hour week, but since the whole IT department is my responsibility, I need to keep track of the servers and maybe problems that can occur 24/7. This is mostly done via emails. When the server status gives out a warning or a failure, I will get notified. And then I'm fixing the problem over a remote desktop or go into the company itself. Even in my free time. I wouldn't mind this, but I am not getting paid for this. But on the other hand, I am getting punished when something is going wrong. My boss's boss wasn't that much better. Since it was a fancy bank, everyone should be in a suit the whole time. To let it look professional, best was a skirt and high heels. Only problem is when you work in a first-level support, you need to do a lot of behind-the-scenes work, like slipping under the desk to do or repair cable management, doing work on the server rack, and doing lots of other activities that make you dirty. You could imagine that this wore out my business clothes really fast, and not only that, they were so impractical and really made my work harder. So I changed my clothes to a comfy hoodie and work pants to fit the work I'm doing a bit better. When my boss saw me, he was furious, demanding that I can't look like a poor hobo inside his bank. I told him that I demand work clothes for both occasions because they are expensive and get worn out quickly. He refused and I wasn't really happy about it. So much for the introduction. Someday my boss's boss, head of the whole company, called me. He had a plan. He wanted to create quiet hours, meaning he didn't want his employees working on weekends to let them rest properly. At first glance, you could say, hey, that's a nice idea. Yeah, no, he just didn't like to pay them for overwork because he got in some legal trouble with overwork paid in general. Not only that, some employees have strict deadlines and need the extra time to get work done. To actively ensure nobody can't work over the weekend, he wanted the following. Please make sure no one can access their emails and remote desktop over the weekend, no exceptions. Since we had a ticket system and were able to attach emails to tickets, I asked him to write an official work task. This has two reasons. First, I like everything documented. Second, I have something to protect and secure myself if the task I was given is incorrect. And it's exactly this that saved me. So I was in my office desk again, thinking how to get the task done and what implications it will have. And then it was clear to me what it meant. The email came from my boss with the task, and indeed he wrote, for everyone, no exceptions. I was thinking to myself, should I write them? The implications it would have? After thinking, I thought of how I'm treated as a worker and I decided against it. I was working immediately at this task and made an automated process to block every access to emails after Friday 6 p.m. to Monday 6 a.m. Weekend came and it was Saturday and I was calm and relaxed because if you have not noticed by now, by cutting down everyone's emails means of course that I don't receive any updates on the servers. I can't possibly work on it because my remote access is also cut. Of course, if you think you could forward your work email address to your private address, no, I can't because we have very strict data protection and nothing is allowed to go out. I am happy. It's still Saturday in the middle of the day and I'm cooking myself and my husband a nice meal and my telephone rings. It's my boss's boss. He talks with a stressed voice and told me that he can't access his emails. I needed a second to process this, but I responded, that doesn't surprise me at all, since you ordered me to cut everyone's email access, without exceptions. He was angry, very angry, and told me that this obviously doesn't count for him. I told him that he specifically told me that there are no exceptions, and that he stated everyone. He then argued that this wasn't how he phrased it, so I reread him his own email. After that, he was silent for a moment, and he noticed the flaw in his logic. I broke the silence and asked him, Sir, if you still want access to your emails on the weekend, that's no problem. Please send me a request per email and I will work on it for a single Monday. A bit angry again, he replied that he wants to have it done immediately. And I calmly explained to him that I can't do this, since my remote access is also blocked. like he ordered. 10 minutes later, he called me again. He asks me calmly if I can fix the problem right now when he pays me for my overwork. He also wants me to be available at any time. Means I should receive my emails and be able to remote work, and that this will raise my pay grade by a lot. I thought that this is a perfect opportunity. I agreed to that condition and pay raise, but only when my co-workers and I finally get work close, and he agreed. Since then, my work situation drastically improved, and mostly only because I maliciously complied, well aware of the consequences of the given task. Thanks for listening. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.